And it worked earlier on, to be fair. Hey, good morning driver, this is the 0637 Southern Service to West Croydon. Please open your doors for the passengers. Let's do that. And then let's fire that up. Okay. You can do it. It's failing. Why are you trying to detect a joystick? There is no joystick on here. Alright. Now my rail driver software is on the fritz. Reese KF94. Thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Is TrackIR a good investment? Well, I think so. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I would much rather have TrackIR than not have TrackIR. Let's put it that way. I hate driving it without TrackIR. Right, let me just take out... It's not time to go yet. It's not the end of the world. Right, let's try doing that. Now you can't talk to... Okay, I think the USB bus has died. I think that might be why it crashed. Because now I can't talk to any of the hardware on the machine. I clearly need a reboot. Never mind, let's get on with it. Background. Do I have a 377? I have a 378. That will do. Apparently I've got other things on in front of it. Let's turn that one off. 378 will have to do. Right. No rail driver. Oh, this is hard work now. Time to go. We got lights on? Nope. See you later, Coplopamal. I talk to all sorts of things, computers and all sorts of hardware, because you know what, I believe they have personalities. Otherwise, seriously, you couldn't actually be out to get me any more than you are at the moment sometimes, unless you had an actual personality. CSX, what is DRA? Driver's Reminder Appliance. Basically, if you stop at a station and the next signal is red, because the previous signal was a yellow, or you know the next signal is red, then you have to you'll put the DRA on, and it disables access to all the controls essentially, so that when you are ready to go, you are reminded that the next signal is a red. Otherwise, after a couple of minutes chatting to someone on the platform, you're quite likely to forget the next signal is a red, start accelerating, and then be in a big world of hurt when you realise that next signal just round the corner is a red light. That's essentially what the driver's reminder appliance is. Reminds you your next signal's red. It's up to the driver to remember to use it, of course, but it's easier to remember to use it at at those times than it is to remember some random interval later. Does TrackIR work out the box? Yes, it does. It works very easily. Yeah, all you need to do is, once you've installed the software, make sure you download the updated game profiles, which just is a single click in the software. Fire the software up, then fire the game up, and the game will recognise the software's there and start talking to it. How does one remember to remember? The engineer gets out and talks to people on the platform. Not so much, but leaning out the window, for example, and chatting to somebody. It happens. If you're stopped at a station for 5 or 6 minutes in some cases, it's certainly not unusual for the driver to have a chat. Maybe have a chat with the conductor if the guard needs to say something. Any kind of distraction is enough to cause your memory to vanish. And the DRA makes sure that if your memory vanishes, you're not going to get into a major problem. Right, this is our first stop, South Bermondsey. This scenario, I'll tell you the details in a minute once we've stopped. Using the keyboard to actually drive the train, which is it's a novelty these days. Right, let's stop. I do like the 377s. They've sort of got that old sort of utility look about them that the like the 4.6 and 4 Veps did. They are fundamentally just coaches with motors, but they don't look quite as coaches with motors as the 4.6 and 4 Veps and things did. Welcome, Dave. Is there one that works for UK sellers? Fury, what are you? Sorry, what was the hardware you're talking about? Or the? I'm missing half a conversation there. Oh, thanks, Dave, for the uploads to the Flickr group. The software's not working, so the map is down at the moment. Something's wrong with my USB bus tonight, and so every time it tries to initialize anything, it freezes up and dies. I think that's probably what caused the game to ultimately crash. So that was a double yellow. We've got a single yellow coming up. We are half a mile from the potential red light. Queens Road Peckham is our next state, so that's the home signal into Queens Road Peckham that's a red light. Still a red at the moment. Oh, there's a train in the platform, that's why. So if we stop here, put the DRA on. Now if I try and apply power, nothing happens. Got a yellow light. Take the DRA off. I'm ready to go. Fundamentally, all DRA does is just stop you being able to drive the train. Right, we're now permitted into Queens Road Peckham. Got a yellow light now as the other train in front of us is moving off. Good night, Alton. Thanks for joining. And CSX. Get to go in a minute. Matthew Timman, will I be doing any tutorials tonight? Not tonight, no. Tonight it's we did the SD9 scenario, which went ever so well. Then this one, which is going well so far. And then we're going to do 2 more SD9 scenarios. Next station, Peckham Rye. Oh, 378 coming in the other direction. Can't remember, I think the last signal we passed was a single yellow, wasn't it? Can't remember. Oh, we got a green. Right, this is Peckham Rye. There's the horn. Right. Off we go. 20 limit coming up after, just as we leave here, and then it'll be speeding back up to 35. East Dulwich in just a bit under a mile. Gotta wait for the whole train to get into 35 before we can actually speed up. Let's get up to the 35. Cheers, Taff the Railman, thanks for joining. Coming into East Dulwich, platform 2. Coming in a bit early on this one. I'm not complaining at that. Cheers, Dinaraptor. Thanks for joining. Trees. I'm presuming North Dulwich is next. Yeah, North Dulwich is next. Right, so we're in a 35, we're going into a 60, but we've got to stop in about a third of a mile. This is North Dulwich, platform 2. Nice. And early. Those would normally be for the cameras, these things that you can see out here, or for viewing inside the train or down the length of the train, so that you can see what's happening. It's for guardless operation, driver-only operation, amongst other things. But because they don't actually work, because you can't do cameras like that in the game, put something on there so that they're kind of doing something, but yeah. That's it, basically. In the real world, they have an actual camera image on them. I think they can be used as platform monitors, or they're for looking down the length of the train, and also for inside. I can't remember exactly. It's for all that kind of thing. Guard will release the brakes once the doors are shut. There we go. Next station is Tulse Hill in 1.2 miles, 60 limit, so we can accelerate up to that. Six pictures of my mug. You mean my mug? This one. Is that my signal? Guess I'm about to get shouted at if it's my signal. Yeah, it looks like it's my signal. But that means our home signal is single amber, so we're okay into Tulse Hill. But we can't overshoot. can't see it. Single amber. Yellow, sorry. Single yellow. Got a red at the end on the starter. Third rail inside the tunnel. Let's have a look, shall we? Oh, can't look. Looks like there was third rail on one of the tracks, but not the other. How bizarre. This is where I forget I've got DRA on and spend the next 5 minutes figuring out why the train won't move. Got a green light now. Right, we're off. Green light. .45 limit. Next station is Streatham. Finchstyle, I don't think enough has gone wrong tonight without actually adding to that list. Accelerating up to 60. We have approach control. Well, I thought it was Streatham, but I could be completely wrong. I'm probably completely wrong. Right, Streatham. Cheers, Dilly Dorito. Early again. It could be Nebworth the way you're approaching. Why sound the horn whistle for into a tunnel? In case there's any workmen inside the tunnel, the horn lets you know, lets them know to tuck into one of the little hideaways. You're supposed to blow your horn on the exit of a tunnel as well, in case there's a workman standing outside the tunnel. The thing is, a tunnel will sort of mask a lot of the noise, which means it's or create a lot of noise, which means it's a bit difficult for them to hear. So you blow your horn to make sure that anyone who's around can hear you. J-Class fan, currently doing a Settle and Carlisle career scenario whilst doing this. Watching this. Superb. Did I lose points for breaking? I'm not sure. I don't recall losing any points so far. Must have lost something though. 539 seems like an odd score to get. $60 limits at the moment, but we're coming into a 15. Football train crashes cleaning his room while watching this. Superb. That train sounds a bit serious. Railhead's cooking. Awesome. Make some for me. Right. Simon Lund at 12 AM UK time is going to start flying BA294 on FSX from Chicago to London. Fantastic. Timings are actually quite nice so far. What's next? Norbury. Yeah, this scenario is 2J73, London Bridge to West Croydon. This is the career version by PJT 1974. Norbury in 0.8, currently in a 45 limit, although we're about to get a 60. There it is. Oop, T-Kink just saw a flash of lightning. Oh yeah, you don't want to be hanging around if you've got lightning. Coming into Norbury. Fringe Starling, you tried to convert London Brighton high pressure to a career and now it's disappeared. You did do a clone of it and work on the clone, didn't you? Right. So, for those who are here, tomorrow is FS Extreme. We're going to continue our flight in Canada, starting at Kamloops, and we're going to head west to Vancouver, and then head south to Seattle, crossing the border into the States. So, if you've got FSX Steam Edition, you are more than welcome to join in. Otherwise than that, watch the stream, give us all moral support. Right. 60 limit, 1.2 miles to Thornton Heath. We have green lights. Is that bit of Gatwick Express action I see before me? There's Thornton Heath. We've got a 45 limit coming into it. We should be slowing down before that anyway. Slowing down for the approach into Thornton Heath. That's it, all stopped. This is Thornton Heath. Got 2 mail left? Yeah, Selhurst and West Croydon after this. Good night, Matthew Tinman. Thanks for joining. Reese KF94, thanks for the follow. Apologies I didn't catch you earlier on. Fringe Starling, the only thing I can suggest is zip it up and send it to me and I'll take a look. C. Rogers, I don't think you can put freight wagons, brakes on freight wagons. Unfortunately, what you want to try and avoid is putting any freight wagons on inclines, because the minute that your player loco gets near them, they will they'll start rolling. The physics will start actioning on them. The reason they don't roll normally, it's not because the handbrake's on, it's because the physics isn't being calculated. Got approach control indicator on that light. The 40 limit coming into Selhurst. Fringe, if you just, as PJT's just said, just zip the scenario folder. Right. What can you use to zip it up? Go and get yourself a copy of 7-zip, or even without that, you can just right click and say send to compressed folder. My compressed folder is a zip file. But yeah, I use 7-zip. It's very good. Moggy was a postman at Thornton Heath, eh? You could use WinRAR, but the thing to remember is WinRAR is actually commercial software that you're supposed to register if you continue to use it, whereas 7-zip is actually free software. So there's a lot of people using WinRAR that actually shouldn't, without paying for it. It's like WinZip is commercial software. They made it. It used to be that you didn't have to register it; it would still work. But then they changed that so you did. Right. West Croydon, 1.2 miles. Current speed limit is 40, but we're going into a 15 any minute now. That's good to hear, Adama. There's a lot of people that haven't. I think some people just don't realise you have to pay for that software. It's a case of, well, it didn't make me pay for it, so therefore you don't have to. Guess we've got an AI service we're waiting for. Here it comes. Get out of my way. Don't I feel uneasy about having no mods here at the moment? Not at all. I trust you lot. You're good. There you go. See, I knew I'd forget the DRA. No! Bit overexcited there. No, no, stop speeding! .20 limit. Single yellow. .60 limits. Have a single yellow, double yellow, single yellow coming up. Oh, here we go. We've got the route indicator. JPT, no, I've got one more scenario. I've got two more scenarios to do after this, but they're quite short. Back on the SD9 again. That's our home signal into West Croydon. .15 limit just past here. Got it, that I made that overspeed. I made the mistake of, before I setting off, not saying what the speed limit is. I find that actually helps a lot for figuring out what speed limit I'm supposed to be, and not sort of just roaring off and thinking, oh great, I can go, zoom, and then immediately overspeed. It's what they do on the real railways in a lot of cases, like the Javelins. They actually call out speed limit changes. Everything they see, they call it out verbally, even because it gets recorded. It's proven to be a good reminder tool to make sure that you are acknowledging and paying attention to everything and seeing things you're supposed to see. It's come from Japan, I think, were the people that sort of started that. I'm Simon. What if those scenarios break too? Yeah, there. Let's not go there. Cheers, X-Shooter. Thanks for joining. .979, all because of a silly little bit of overspeeding that was totally unnecessary. Never mind. So, that scenario was 2J73 London Bridge to West Croydon, and that was by PJT 1974. So, thank you very much, Phil. Really enjoyed that. That was very good. Okay, now, let me switch back to some other goodies. What we got here?